Pounders, welcome back. The official finale of the big board drafts. We're doing number 149, number 150 today. So if you haven't already, go down, slap the like on the live stream. This contest is 98.5% full. We paced this thing perfectly. Not going to lie, we paced it perfectly. I think Underdog wished this filled, a few days later, but they did a great job pacing this thing too. We'll see if we get a small contest release a few days before the NFL draft. I think that wouldn't be overly surprising. This is probably the best time to be in tune with content. Drafting, we're going to have 18 round drafts pretty soon. People's roster construction is going to be an absolute mess. The onesie positions, it's going to be super important that you don't overdo it at QB, which in these 20 round drafts, a lot of teams are used to investing a ton in QB, and it's not really as big of an egregious mistake versus when you're in these 18 round drafts. Your advance rates are going to feel it a lot more if you're spending too much at the onesies. Same thing with running back, where you're only starting 2 running backs, you're starting 3 receivers. A lot of teams are going to overspend at running back too. So if you guys are staying in tune with content, you guys will have a really easy transition going through from 20 rounds to 18 rounds if this is your first year or second year even. It does take a few days. I will say you're looking at your team and you're like, this looks weaker because you're just used to having those extra 2 picks. But with the player pool being a little more certain after the NFL draft, you know the landing spots for the rookies. You sort of know who's on the depth chart for running backs at this point, or you can at least make some inferences on who you think is going to be the number 2 in some of these backfields. You can make better correlated teams and you make bets on being right, basically. And I think that's really important to lean into as we get into the 18 round drafts. Andrew, what's going on, man? Welcome to the live stream. Fellow content creator. Dave, what's up, my bud? And Max Sauce in here early. Appreciate you guys. We are going to be jumping into a big board shortly. Man, I do have the CSV rankings. The goal is to have the next update a day after. I don't want it to be further. I want a day after the NFL draft. This way, you guys can scoop that value where we think these players should rise or fall to. There's going to be so much movement with the NFL draft. And then on top of that, the draft guide, which is in addition to the CSV rankings, that I like to have at least a week of the exposure sort of settling. This way, it's better for longer. You guys can know, if I have someone ranked in the 88 and they're in green, they drop to, or they rise to 62, maybe I don't think they're the best value in that range. So it's just a way that it extends it a little more. So the CSV ranking should help you with the closing line value early. And then, of course, the draft guide will be coming shortly thereafter, which is fun. But let me know if you guys have filled this contest already. 98.5%. I'm doing 149 and number 150 tonight. We're going to do a double stream. Maybe we'll set the like goal at 25 likes. We'll keep it low. I know you guys can hit it. Alpha, what's going on, man? Welcome to the live stream. Alpha Pounder in the chat. Thank you guys for coming out. Happy Friday. A little toast for you guys. Happy Friday. Happy 149 and happy 150. Goes quick. It goes quick. The draft season's been wild. So we're working on the 5th update to the draft guide and the 3rd update to the CSV rankings, which I think the player that is probably mispriced the most right now, we've got ahead of it, is AD. So that is interesting. But we did tip off the YouTube memberships. We did tip off the Patreon members. And I think we snuck in at 12 out of 12 here. So I don't think anyone got in this one. Oh, we snuck in 12 out of 12. KZ Brown, this name's familiar. I want to say Casey is on the Twitter machine. I'm not recognizing any other names in this draft, though, so this should be it should be a softer room, let's say. CeeDee Lamb at 3. I'm going Bijan here at 5. May as well. I think we're at 10 or 11%. So we may as well lean into Bijan here in front of Brees, in front of Jefferson. And in BBM, it wouldn't be overly surprising to see Jefferson fall behind Brees. Like, you can already see this gap starting to close between Brees and Jefferson. Jefferson at 6.3, Brees at 6.7. That wouldn't be overly surprising to me. Yeah, Andrew says Casey is in Pete Overzet streams all the time. The name is super familiar. Alpha says so hyped for the draft next week. Yeah, I'm going to try to do something at least for the first round of the NFL draft. Maybe we'll have a little Pounders draft party. Brees goes off at 8 here. If you guys didn't catch our stream, I know people probably didn't like it as much because we're drafting our fades on that last video we did, but we made a team that was correlated. We made a team that was balanced from a roster construction standpoint. Let me know if you guys like that one or not. Puka at 10. And I'm going to continue to draft Garrett Wilson in front of Puka in BBM, especially early into BBM, right? Like, let's say we come out and Rodgers doesn't have the best news in the world, which he almost played towards the end of last season, if you believe those rumors. But at least there was the possibility of that happening. And then he didn't play, so he didn't re-injure himself. My speculation is Rodgers should be good to go. He should be good to go. He got hurt on like the second play. So I'm drafting Garrett Wilson ahead of Puka. And we'll see what the Jets do with that first pick. I'm hoping they touch at O-line. Again, that would be good for Brees. That'd be obviously good for Rodgers. And you had the Achilles injury. You would think they would lean protection. And you've sort of seen with the rumors of, the potential that they go Bowers has been affecting Conklin's ADP. And just know if the Jets don't go tight end with one, or if they don't, like, even Sanders might hurt Conklin a little bit, but not to the point where he's not worth it at 194. So for me, it's they either go Bowers and Conklin takes a big hit, but where you're getting him, it doesn't probably matter too much, or Conklin ends up being a pretty good value this year. Nico off at 16. Interesting. Diggs off at 18. And Neighbors being pulled up. All right. We're going to start double RB here. We're going to bring in JT at 20. I'm going to bring in JT at 10, 20. Someone we had a fade on early into the big board. And as these ADPs adjust, we've been drafting him more in this 20 range. So I'd like to get my shares a little later than the early drafters. Yeah, Andrew says same thing. I think the Jets go O-line or Bowers. I do lean O-line, but I would lean O-line. Adams at 21, HN at 22, Cool 0. That name looks familiar as well. But those are the only two. Casey and Cool 0. If you guys snuck in this one with us, let us know in the chat so we can read out your squad. DJ Moore at 23. What's CJ's Moore ADP finally settled at? 23.5. Even I think Moore should fall between. He should fall a few more picks behind some of these receivers. I'd have him closer to Vonta Smith, I believe, in the CSV, which feels right. Allen off the board at 26, Olave at 25. So we need, like, no matter what, we're going receiver here, no matter what. Dude. Andrew goes, a good stream segment name would be Fade On or Hard On. Damn. What about both? We're going Debo here, a little slide here, 6-pick slide. We get him at 29 with JT sliding 4 picks, Bijan. Fun start, especially because Debo started in what, like the late second round to start? He started around like, I don't know, pick like 19, I believe, his ADP. So, man, Debo at 29, not gonna lie, that's pretty nice. And also going Bijan, like you get the potential that Debo steals a rushing touchdown. So he is a nice leverage piece to those CMC squads as well. So Debo's someone that we really mess with, especially in battle royales. And he got us what, I think 6th place in the turkey for like 3 Gs or something. Leverage that CMC. Devonta Smith, Diggs, Jefferson, Laporta, Neighbors, Amon-Ra. There's some fun starts. It's really through 3 rounds. It's hard to not like a squad start. Although, like, I do think Nico is way too expensive here at 16, especially after we get the news of Diggs. He should be going later than 21.7, in my opinion. So if you care about value, but I get it. It's the end of the big board. Maybe they didn't get their Nico shares. I'd be fine just skipping on Nico here, especially because so many drafters took him here at 16 too. It's not like you're getting unique. And now we have more information about his situation. Jalen Hurts, DK, Saquon, and Wilson. I like that start a lot. Another Drew. I don't know if the Pounders can have another Drew. So this is interesting. Like if we talk about Harrison going to Arizona, where does he go? Right? Like, does he pass Drake London? It doesn't feel like it. So I think I've had a soft fade on Marvin Harrison. I don't mind mixing him in, but I do think he goes near his max. So we're at 6%. 6% Marvin Harrison. He basically has to go to Arizona, in my opinion. If he ends up in the Pats, which is possible, he falls. Does he fall that far? No, not really, but he still falls. So I've been sort of waiting until BBM to decide one way or the other, but right now I'm basically staying at field. Here, there are a good amount of receivers. Can we get one at 53? I guess we can go all the way up to Christian Kirk, Reed in this range if we want to bring in someone like Lamar. It's just tough to go QB and 2 running backs and still like your squad. I feel like we do have to hit. We still have to touch it receiver. We have to double tap receiver. And that's where you sort of box yourself. When you draft like this and you draft 2 elite running backs, sure, we can go ahead, we can bring in Lamar there. But you were relying on the room giving you some leeway at receiver. You're relying at pick 68, at pick 77 that there's someone there that you like and the receivers are still there. Like if Godwin's off the board at 77, we go Lamar, we have 1 receiver, say we bring in one of these guys, so we have a 1-2-2 build. At 66 and 77, like you better hope that, in my opinion, Brian Thomas Jr. and Godwin are there. And we do that. We risk it for the biscuit sometimes, but it didn't feel right in this situation. Wabi, welcome to the live stream, man. Just got one last share of C-Mac for the big board. Already at 14%. Wow, we know who's getting all the good variants here. Who is the last tight end you feel comfortable drafting before you think it gets ugly? It's probably in this Schultz range. But really, if you want more certainty, I think Jake Ferguson. We just never seen that breakout from Goddard. Like, he has his games, but I don't expect a whole lot to change in that offense. This is we can go Amari Cooper or Kirk. I don't think it really matters either or. I believe I'm way heavier on Kirk, so we'll bring in Amari Cooper here at 53, basically right at ADP. ADP hound right now. And let's see, it pick 68. Let's see who comes back to us. But yeah, another thing, like when we go to 18-round drafts, you should already have predetermined in your mind, what is my pairing of my latest 2 tight ends that I would take before it turns into 3. You should do the same thing with QB as well. And maybe I'll even add that little portion to the guide in the next draft guide for the opening of BBM5. Like, are you comfortable with just Mayer and Ingram? In an 18-round draft, I would be. I'd be very comfortable with stopping at 2 there. How about like Ingram and Henry, Ingram and Johnny? Like, what's the combination? I think that's important to look at. And it's especially important in the higher stakes draft if you guys are going to dip your toes into the high stakes. Drafting with people that are on for the most part sharper. Look at this guy going 3 QBs. This is something to note. Right here, the 2 spot, we're going to have to go Joe Burrow maybe a little early. This might be Joe Burrow at 68. He could go Joe Burrow. He has Chase. He's already gone 3 elite QBs. Like, this is where keeping an eye on the draft board. This man's obviously a wild card. He's a wild card. I think Joe Burrow here is going to be the play, which means good thing. Well, not good thing. I guess we could have gone Lamar and that would have been fine because this wouldn't have happened. A-Rich off the board at 64. 4 picks after ADP. Favorite late round QB to stack right now is either Derek Carr or Daniel Jones. Derek Carr, Daniel Jones. I mean, Bryce Young's there as well. I would say those 3 are my most common back stacks. Geno's fine. Really, any of those guys could be a pretty good value. Here's the Burrow click. Pair him with T. Higgs. He goes Prescott 69, so this guy's paying attention right now. He steals him from the CD Lamb team. Just like, why? I love it. I love it. We are playing ball right now. Joe Mixon off the board at 70. I didn't think he was going to fall back, but it'd be tough to go another running back here. We would like Godwin to fall. If not, I'm extremely low on Christian Watson. Like, very, very low. Maybe we mix it up for this team. It could be a JSN. I don't love the D-Hop price. We could go tight end too. We have a few ways we can go. Let's use on the board. These receivers are flying off. What's this guy going to do? I'm guessing tight end, but he should go receiver. D. Lucas, 20. 20 QBs. Good thing they put a cap on QBs too. So you're going to see a lot less drafts being canceled because of that. Is he on auto? Is that why? No, he's not on auto. This pick was before ADP. That was an auto. He let it run down. Okay, we're getting one of these two. We're happy. We're thrilled. We're thrilled with this. Now, if we went Kirk, we could have gone for the double stack with Ingram. I am light years ahead of JSN and D Hop with where Ingram's ranked for us. So let's stay true to our rankings here. We're heading into we're heading into the 8th round with only 3 receivers. Oh dear. Oh dear. QBs as well, so Purdy should fall to us at a good spot here at 92. So Purdy would be a great option. Again, where this team has 3 elite QBs, the draft room has to adjust, and I'd be comfortable with going Joe Burrow with Purdy and just stopping at those 2. And just stopping with those 2. If this guy if this guy grabs a 4th QB, or if this team grabs a 3rd QB with A-Rich and Stroud, it can really punish the room. Late tight end does not feel as comfy this year. I agree. I do think, however, there are some potential values, some gems. Like Gesicki at 203, is this just because like Cincinnati has had trash tight ends, like not offensive minded tight ends come in and not get targets, not be productive? Like it's not Irv Smith Jr. here. Like Mike Gesicki is still a pretty good athlete. Ooh, Purdy at 85, huh? Just naked Purdy here. 12 picks before ADP. Here we go. Here we go. Now we're playing ball. Now we're playing ball. Al, welcome to the live stream. Now we're playing ball. So now we're gonna have to find some back stacks like Deshaun Watson, Trevor Lawrence. We have options for. We could do a Kirk thing with Bijan, maybe Mooney. We could snipe Kyler here too. So if I'm this team, instead of going naked Purdy, like why not just go Kyler? It's or just wait and try to grab Rodgers or Geno or maybe even Drake May or Daniels to Washington. The naked Purdy click is just like, I don't know. I don't know. Finals, 558 teams. This gets ugly here after Kyler goes off the board. This gets ugly here. We need receivers too. We can bring Mike Willie up to this spot. We're probably going to end up double tapping receiver, but it gets super ugly here. At 92 and 101, let's go Worthy in front of Williams. I know I have a ton of Worthy at 145, and I really haven't mixed him in at this ADP at 92, so we'll do it here. I don't think it's too big of a deal about 3-4 rounds in the middle rounds. Mike Williams goes off the board next. We could also bring in like naked Caleb and try to backstack it with Komet. So ugly. The naked Purdy steal is gross. Yeah, I was definitely going Kyler if he lasted, but again, one pick before, and AD Mitchell. Some of these guys would have been easy clicks for us. Put us in a weird spot. And we'll see if AD Mitchell goes off the board early. Like we're talking like early 20s in the draft. You could see Worthy, you could see Ladd, you could see Troy Franklin sneak into the first round on the back end. I think I just saw something that he's throwing like 40-yard passes, which I mean, that's probably all he could do pre-injury. McCaffrey, what's going on, man? Welcome to the live stream. Room. Rue. Lockett's still here on the board. I do want to bring in another receiver here. It's so tough to bring in Caleb in this spot. completely avoiding Curtis Samuel right now. I do think we get a fall on Curtis Samuel's. Like, you're gonna get a fall in this ADP the second that Buffalo drafts a receiver, so I don't think it makes much sense to grab him, especially for our exposures where he was our highest owned, second highest owned receiver. Darnell Mooney was our highest at the time of free agency when they both got pretty good landing spots. We'll mix in Lockett here. We'll mix in Lockett. We can go Trevor Lawrence at 121 to pair with Ingram. And we're really leaning into this running back room in the first and second round. I think you have to. It's super easy to overspend. And again, in the 18 round drafts, it will be super easy to overspend at QB, tight end, running back. So just being mindful of that, where your draft capital is being spent is important. Benson off the board at 103. This team's balanced, but he might have a tough time with QBs. We might both be fighting for Geno, which is something to note. Are you heavy on JJ? And I want to say, is this Justin Jefferson or JJ McCarthy? We gotta make sure that we're not talking two different peeps here. JJ McCarthy, if he gets the Minnesota landing spot, that's best case scenario for him. But yeah, Jettas, he's gonna produce no matter what. He is. Now, depending on the QB, can his ceiling be a little lower or higher? Like, if Minnesota trades up somehow, they find a way to trade up to like maybe the Patriots spot and they bring in Daniels or May. Like, Jefferson's probably going right back at pick 4. You'll see him rise right back up to pick 4. But if he gets someone like JJ McCarthy, it's not like he's gonna fall from 6 or 7. He'll just stay right there. His ceiling, his single game ceiling might take a small hit, but he's still gonna be wildly productive. Alex brings up a good point. Browns have 4 QBs on their roster, which isn't a good sign. That would be insane. Now, I'm an advocate for Deshaun Watson did not look good when he was healthy. Deshaun Watson did not look good after the suspension the year prior. After 11 games he watched and he was still practicing. Came in, he looked like crap. He wasn't running the ball as much. So Flacco's not there. Flacco's not there to save everyone. Where Flacco is Indy, right? He's in Indy. So Pittman, all those receivers, Josh Downs, JT even, they have a little security blanket if A-Rich even goes down, which I do like for those players. We can also go like Naked Daniels and maybe we pair him with like Dotson or something. But let's go. I think we go Myers here. Let's go Myers and let's try to push T-Law. I want to say the Kirk team is to our right. It's right here. So no one should go Trevor Lawrence, but we'll see. ETN team is to our right as well. Lab McConkey off the board at 117. And again, we caught up at receiver real quick. And with players I like as well, which feels good. Davis, Shakir off the board. Ooh. I didn't see that one. Someone could have double tapped the Gabe Davis, Trevor Lawrence. We also could have gone Gabe Davis instead of Myers to pair with Trevor Lawrence, but I'd honestly just prefer Myers. Unleash Jameis Winston. Let's go. Trevor Lawrence is my highest exposure QB right now by a long shot. This is what we're doing today? Is this what we're doing today? On the last draft, the last stream of the year? Did he just go naked? Yeah, just naked T-Law. Oh, Max Payne. We can go Chase Brown, bring in a little correlation with this team, with Burrow and Cincy. Bring in our third running back. We don't have to force anything else. Schultz, I think, is fine at this ADP too. He does likely lose a little bit of that sparkle he had pre-Diggs to Houston, but he'll just become more touchdown dependent is all. Oh dear. So now it's like we're in 3 QB territory. We're in 3 QB territory. We have Amari Cooper, so I do want to lean into that and actually bring in Deshaun Watson with this squad. We could be targeting Geno Smith as well. We can go Fant for a little double stack there. Sharps is on the board, although he probably won't make it back to us at 140. Dotson with May is another little mid-round stack that we can do. Yeah, dude. They make it so far. The teams in front of you don't have any correlation. Your brain's turned off. You're like, yeah, I'm getting him. Jerome Ford. I like the Ford click still. I still think it's a good click. At ADP. I'm not going wild before ADP, but 141. I mean, you're getting change of pace. You're getting handcuff running backs in this range anyways. You have the expected starter when he's healthy, Chubb, coming back from a major injury, which gives me a little asterisk next to Jerome Ford. It makes me like him a little more than the other guys in this range. Now, if Chubb is on the board, someone went Dotson, huh? 133. It's interesting. Like teams typically, every draft I do, people typically don't like Dotson. He usually falls. But the second I want to stack him, peace. We could still go Drake May, and we can go like Drake May to the Pats and do something like Demario Douglas, who is fine for this squad. It doesn't wow me. Man, I think I have to go Chuba here, though. I think I have to go Chuba here. That might have been the trap pick right there. I'm gonna push it. We still have some late QBs that if we miss on May, I'm fine with it. I value hounded. I'm sorry. I value hounded. 11 picks after ADP. 11 picks after ADP. McCaffrey asks, favorite late round tight end at ADP, Knox? Probably Gesicki. Probably Gesicki right now. Before, when Johnny Smith was going in the 19th, 18th, 19th, 20th, it was Jonnu. Adam, welcome to the live stream, man. Adam was fading Jonnu. We had a little conversation, and I hope I didn't sway him too much. But I believe he's over 8% now. Ertz, Fant. Yeah, Hunter Henry. I liked Fant. Oh, my God. Again. It's okay. It's okay. We're used to it at this point. We could go Mare, and do we lean into like Gardner Minshew with this little double stack with Myers and Mare? It'd be kind of gross. But let's bring in Deshaun here. I'm pretty low, I believe, in exposure. So we have Mari Cooper. It makes sense. 5%. And it's a lot of small boards. That's 5%. That's $79. It seems way lower than what 5% would be. Yes, this is 100% exactly the way I feel. Liked Fant when there was a possibility of him going somewhere else. That's exactly how I feel. Trey Tucker late. Get the triple stack. Let's see if Mayer makes it back to us. I think that's wishful thinking. Jerome Ford off the board at 152. Dude, the Geno team at 151 with JSN. Where's the Metcalf squad? To our right. It's a good chance he's not bringing in another QB, and he could have probably got Geno at 162. But when someone goes several elite QBs, it does push up QB. We were so close to getting the guy we wanted 3 times. That's what we get for pushing it, I guess. But I'm always going to be, especially in lower stakes, 10, 5, $3 drafts, I'm going to push my teams to the max to try to create a well-stacked, good valued team. And we have a lot of options at QB still. We just need one more with this group. Just need one more with this group. Depending on how far Fields falls, it could be Fields. Hunter Henry's still there. John is still there. It sucks, but we're probably gonna have to go with 3 tight ends as well. Luckily, we're stopping at 5 running backs. So the Chuba click does help us there, where this allows us to stop at 5, I believe, and be completely comfortable. Obviously, we're not bringing in Minshew right here, 164. So this is an interesting spot. We can go someone like Braylon Allen right here and hope that one of these 2 tight ends fall to us. Let's try it. Let's try Braylon Allen here. I'm curious if I can get Derek Carr and then Juwan Johnson. Oh, dear. You just see the run at tight end directly after. Directly after. It's okay. We knew it was coming. At pick 183. Pick 188. So he'll have to fall a few picks. But let's see. We're pushing it. We're pushing it to the max on this one. It's okay. Yeah, Fant's still a pretty good. He's a good athlete. Like, if you look at just the raw numbers, he's a good athlete. It's just the way they used him in like 3 tight end sets last year. It was just pain. Now, of course, like, I'm good at running back. I'm pretty good at receiver right here. It would probably be a mistake to go one of these 3 and not go QB or tight end. And obviously, it's like a group that I like with Roman Wilson and Kendre. So it makes it even tougher. But we will go Derek Carr here if he makes it to us. If not, I think we have to reach up for Jawan. I'm going to put these 3. I'll put these 4 in the queue. We'll put Gesicki above Conklin because we have the correlation with Burrow. Okay. Is this a trap pick? No, it can't be. We can also add in like a late A.T. Perry. A late A.T. Perry is exactly what you need. We're done at running back. We're done at QB. Obviously, we're heavily reliant on Joe Burrow staying healthy and having a bounce back year. T. Higgs, Amari Cooper, Deebo Samuel, Xavier Worthy, Tyler Lockett, Myers, and Ingram at tight ends are very balanced. It's just now finding those last 5-round clicks. Adam says, took Fant in the 20th round yesterday and it felt gross. There's worse clicks. Like, if you need a third tight end, it's not an overspend. Um, there's worse clicks than Fant. There really is. Juwan's off the board. So now we're hoping Jaceki makes it back to us. We can take running back and QB off the board. So this is basically what we're looking at right now. This is basically what we're looking at. Maybe add Ben Sinnott in there, Sanders. Maybe Darren Waller too. It's not a bad time to add Darren Waller as well. It's like, it's not guaranteed that he retires. And if he doesn't, he goes in front of Chiggy. Like, it's, in my opinion, he goes in front of Chiggy, like, no questions asked. And then the Conklin thing will depend on Bowers, but he would probably go in this 182 range. And that's sort of where he was going before the threaten of potentially retiring. Juwan off the board at 175. Of course, he didn't want to correlate with Fant. Jaceki off the board at 179. God damn. Way ahead of ADP. We're talking 23 picks. This room is wild right now. It's like the wild, wild west. The wild, wild west. I'm over here just trying to correlate my squad. Staffy and Kirk. Okay. He's correlating too. Can't be too bad. Can you show the 3 elite QB team? Oh, gritty. We'll show it at the end. I know you want to see it. That's what gets him up in the morning. We'll peek it. We'll peek it at the end so we can take it all in. I want to go Zay Jones here, but we need. It's going to be a 3 tight end team no matter what. I like the Hyatt click. It's fine. We don't need Zay Jones here. We definitely need to hit Conklin. Zay Jones will have 2 pass catchers on Jacksonville. Not that it's the biggest deal, but not having T-Law, that definitely at least loses the 50-50 ball for me. Jeez, if Elijah Moore falls to like the 19th or 20th, we'll go Elijah Moore, but I can't. No, you're not. I think that the Jets are going O-line because that's what they should do. Gritty in the house. Gritty in the house. I'm just seeing Max said earlier. Max Saw said Jonnu was my favorite. It was such an easy 20th round click. I got to 11, 13% really fast. Really fast. When he was only being drafted, what? He was being sparingly mixed in the first 50% of the contest, but you're talking like 1 out of every like 30, 40 drafts. And then he started going in every single draft. Yeah. Yeah. It's not good. It's not good. Desperate times, desperate measures. The old protecting the old. Polk off the board, Ray Davis, Zay Jones, Rashawn Johnson at 192. That's wicked nice. That's nice. We can go Baker here. I think it's the right play. We'll bring in Javon Baker, our second rookie receiver. So we need one. Wow, we have 3 picks. We're gonna have a luxury pick at the end. We're gonna have a luxury pick. It's gonna be 2 receivers and a tight end. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. Dobbins. So we don't see a big rise in this room on Dobbins with the Charger landing spot. Seen some posts in the Discord of him going in the 160s. Adam likes McMillan, Devontae, and Baker. Yeah, I'm completely fine with it ranked like that. This is honestly just an exposure click at this point. I'm super heavy on McMillan, especially in the last round, but it doesn't matter. 17th or the 20th, it really doesn't matter. So I'm still clicking McMillan a lot in this range too. The only difference is where Baker's ADP is 10 spots closer, you can't go McMillan and expect Baker to come back to you. Whereas we went Baker and there's a chance that McMillan falls 7 spots back to 212. Do you guys like Tucker Kraft, Sanders, Waller? I think it's a good time to pick Waller. It's like a zero risk. It's zero risk at this point. Like, sure, he could retire and you don't get those points, but tight ends on the back end are just gonna be relatively meh. Kraft off the board now, which makes it even easier for me to go Waller. We have it ranked like this. We'll go Waller, Sanders. We'll take best available on this list. Shipley. Ooh, this is spicy. Colts draft. I'm assuming he's saying Jonathan Brooks. Spicy. I like the take. Let's go. Do we have to go tight end here? These teams have 2. Kelsey. This team probably needs another tight end. But they'll probably go Sanders first. Let's bring in Devontae. About 17 picks after ADP. Andy asks, do you not like Ertz? He's Cliff's guy now in Washington with no competition. Doesn't feel bad in the 19th. It hurts. No pun intended. You're going to have a rookie QB. Some people like the notion of that. Like, oh, yeah, they lean on their tight ends, but I don't know. Ertz's best days are behind him. His best days of being like the best high floor tight end are behind him. Not that Waller's best days are behind him too. So it's not like I'm comparing. Both of them are relatively underwhelming. Relatively underwhelming. I would just tend to lean with the guy who was going around pick 170s in Waller in those early drafts. Now you're getting him in the 19th. So that's probably why I like Waller a little better right now than Ertz. Ben Sinnott in front of Sanders because of the combine numbers. All right, let's bring in Waller here. I have a ton of Sanders too. It's not like I don't like them. So the squad is Burrow, Deshaun Watson, Derek Carr, Bijan, JT, Chase Brown, Chuba Hubbard, and Braylon Allen. I like the running back room solid. If we could have got a little bit of luck with either the Kyler falling to us here, the Trevor Lawrence falling to us here, like, I would like this team a little more. Drake May falling to us here. Like I would like the team a little more, but we still correlated it well. And Debo, T. Higgs, Amari Cooper, Xavier Worthy, Tyler Lockett, Jacoby Myers, Javon Baker, Devontae Walker, Ingram, Conklin, and Waller. Then we're just going to add one of these two receivers that correlates here with Burrow or Derek Carr. And we'll wrap up 149. See how many likes dropping another draft. We're at 21, 4 likes away, and we're going to jump into number 150. Usually the day after the NFL draft ends. The day after it ends, BBM5 will drop. We'll see. Maybe we'll make some bets. Who thinks it's going to be 4 million? 3.5? I would say it's going to be at least 3.5. It's going to be higher, whether you like it or not. Yeah, this is my favorite, dude. What do you think about this? Is Nick's team referencing the Waller click? What do you think about the coach saying that? Yeah, we're probably not going to draft the QB. Like we're good. We're good with Drew Lock and Daniel Jones. Jason, welcome to the live stream. Says BBM drops next Saturday. Same as last year is the rumor. I want to say BBM dropped after the NFL draft, not before. So the day after the NFL draft ends, and it is in that range. So Saturday does sound right, the 27th. Because what the draft is the 24th, 25th, 26th. Saturday does sound right to me. I hope so. I actually like the regular season prize. And we bring in the Derek Carr correlation because we missed out on Juwan Johnson. We tried pushing this in a few areas in this draft. It didn't end up working, but we still end up with the balanced squad. $5 million to first with less to regular season than last year. You could see that range of what was it, like 5,000 to 10,000, I believe, got $250. You could see that range come to a close, whether in the amount or maybe it's only the top 7,500. They could find money that way to kind of spread out, but I don't necessarily agree with just giving it all to first place. It's the lottery. It really is. Like that contest is the lottery contest. So we'll be maxing it. It's fun. I think there are different strategies and ways to draft that. Let's see. I know you guys got us there. I know you guys got us there. We're at 24. We're 1 like away. You guys gonna hit it. You guys gonna hit it. The last draft. Waiting on 5. Waiting on 5. Yeah, Nick crushed the regular season and it owes it all to Raheem Mostert. Owes it all to Raheem Mostert. It may be some good roster construction, maybe some of that. Adam gets rewarded. Adam gets rewarded with the 1 spot. Jack's in the 5. I want to say this is a pounder. We got a lot of black badges in this one. Black badges and no badges. Dennis is right next to us. And Rackham Willie in the 12th. Dennis, I feel like you've done 3,000 drafts. Where's the badge? Are you hiding the badge? Berg. Yeah, I don't understand the hate either on the regular season prize. It rewards good roster construction. It rewards hitting on players in ranges that were very good values. Now, to compete for the top 100 spots is very hard to plan. Like, you're not planning your week 8 bye week where, like, you have one guy on bye and whatever, you have a 5 running back team and you need your hero running back build that has CMC on bye. You need that to pick up the pace on that week. There is some luck involved with that, but it makes for a whole nother sweat. Like, we came in 24th in the puppy 2 for regular season prize, and that was in the 240,000 entrant range. It made for a wild sweat, I will say. Nick had a crazy sweat in BBM. At one point, Nick, weren't you in the top 10 for like a very short period? Just for the screenshot. Amon-Ra slipping into the 5 spot here. JJ still on the board, Bijan and Hall. I'd be happy with one of these 3. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. Never happens. Let's go. We jinxed it. We jinxed it for 150. You got to put the 150 jinx on it. We get Brees Hall at 9. Rightfully so. Rightfully so. Got to follow the script. You get the script, like, you got to follow it. It's just what it is, what it is. To some extent, yes. To some extent, to finish your teams in the top 10,000, especially if you're maxing it with 150. On average, the better drafter will, through even just roster construction, will advance more teams in the top 10K. Yeah, he spiked in at one point. I think it was like Derrick Henry got you there in some bye week. That was wild. I think that was near the Dog Bowl is when that happened. That sounds right. Week 10, week 11. Whoa. Wow. 4th is still really good, Jason. 4th is really good. All right. Some people are just fading Drake London. I get it. Like, even I was getting him in the 40s and 50s. I don't want to do another double RB start, boys. I don't want to do it. It's weird. We're going to go London here. Trust the gut. If he's worth the price, it doesn't matter. We're trying to advance this team against these 11 other drafters. And there's tons of grenades, right? Early when London was being drafted in the 50s, people were taking Tajay Spears at 62 to 66. There's plenty of other grenades where people lost closing line value on picks to now make a more concentrated, better correlated, more information team. That's fine. I don't worry about it too much. JT off the board, Barkley off the board at 18, getting closer to his starting ADP, which was, it was mid-20s, 27 he started at. Nico off at 19. I'm still surprised how many people are drafting Nico in the mid-second round. We saw him go 17 or 16 last draft. He goes at 19 here, ahead of ADP. It's interesting. Look at this range of receivers. No one knows what to do with this group. That's so funny. No one knows what to do with this group, so they just stack them all together. Just put them all right next to each other. Josh Allen on the back end of this whole entire draft, just the big board in general, going at pick 29 now, where Diggs didn't really do much at the end of the year. You're getting a nice discount on Josh Allen right now, too. If he falls to us at 33, it's an insta-click. Yeah. Oh, God. So is that contest super top-heavy too, Jason? First place being 200K. I'm sure fourth place was still at least, what, 15, 20? Allen off the board at 26. So many broken Josh Allen dig stacks on this 1-2 turn. Yeah, 18K for fourth. It's still a nice take, dude. Really nice take. That'll pay for hopefully a few years of drafting and then some. An investment. Jalen Waddle, Devontae Adams, and Jamar Chase. Hard to go wrong. Hard to go wrong there. Up in 4 picks. And this is where our rankings are wildly different from CSV or from Underdog's rankings. Evans goes off the board. What's our next pick after this? It's pick 40. I want a double tap receiver. Here. And Rice is going off the board at 42 right now. I wouldn't mind Rice at 40. But let's see. We have Dennis behind us. We have Rackham Willie in the stream with us. We have to be conscious of our thoughts out loud. Al, it's the last bullet. So I didn't realize I have a slow draft going on. I didn't realize I had a slow draft, so I thought I had 3 bullets. Oh, Metcalf goes 1 pick before. Let's bring in Devonta Smith. I have a lot more Pittman than Smith, and Smith is someone that I did want to add more shares on towards the end of the contest. If Jalen Hurts is there, we'll add Jalen Hurts to this group. Otherwise, we should just go receiver. I don't think Jalen Hurts makes it back because the A.J. Brown team's right here. But we'll see. It's not a stack that you're going to do every single time. T. Higgs is here. Rome is here. And then I think you start to hit a cliff here at receiver. Like there's still a few picks that are good high floor picks, but you start to lose out on ceiling. Cup off the board with Jalen Hurts. Ouch. Keenan Allen off at 38. Man, I don't like the landing spot in Chicago. I'm surprised. Where's so pick 57. Stroud usually falls to this range, right? 51. Where's the Nico team? Nico team's to our left, so he's probably not passing 43. Which makes me want to put Rice ahead of Dell. We're going to bring in Rice here, and maybe we get Mahomes on the way back around. Berg asks, are you going to live stream when BBM opens? 100%. 100%. We'll be streaming next Saturday. Nick said, should have had a randomizer for this draft. Missed opportunity. Gross. Like a poker player randomizer where you're like, "All right, I'm thinking of a number 1 through 75 or whatever," and then if it's 76 to 100, you go a different way. Balance out your moves. We already did a stream on the last one that was like all fades. Created a team of fades, still well correlated, good draft capital, just guys that were off of under 8% on every single player. And that team, people liked it. The live stream liked it. So it's funny how you can create a team of players that you're not on and it still makes sense. We'll do this for Nick. We'll do that for like a $3 draft. Number 150s. It's too symbolic. It's too symbolic for games. Pete's the randomizer. We gotta leave him to the randomizer. Kelsey off the board? I'll think of some ideas. Something with beers. Something with beers. Kelsey, Tank falls to 44, which this range feels correct for him. Like, I'm still drafting Tank before Zay Flowers. Now, if you have Lamar, I'm leaning Zay, but without correlation, I would still Tank Dell over Zay Flowers. And we'll see. We'll see if Mahomes falls back to us. It's not the end of the world if he doesn't. We'll probably just end up double tapping receiver, or we can go receiver tight end. We can bring in a second running back if Pacheco's there. And that might be a way to leverage Mahomes with Rice. So that could be an interesting little pairing right there. Stroud goes off at 48. Oh, damn. Adam said, get out of my way. The Nico drafted doesn't even have a chance. I like this so far from Adam. Even like if he's able to bring in Caleb too, this team's just going to be, if you compare this team to an early drafted team and he makes the finals, Adam's team is going to be way more correlated. You're going to have like Diggs with Josh Allen, and that might be a separate advantage too, but brings in Joe Mixon. I like this. Nice start from Adam here in the one spot. Gonna have to catch up at receiver, but maybe he gets lucky at 72 and 73. I'd say about 60% of the time there's someone there that I like. Depends on the room. Yeah, bingo. Swap Rice and London's ADP2, basically no miss value. Where Drake London typically went in this Rice range, and Rice went at like 23. Yeah, we're right back. We're right back in the closing line value. Nick, did you ever look at those teams where you ranked your closing line value of all 150? I think you did it for BBM. Did you ever go back and look to see how those teams performed? Where you had some teams with like plus 300 closing line value, and then obviously the minus ones. I'd be curious to see if how that went. Lot of tight ends off the board here. Zay Flowers, Pickens. We would have added Pickens to this group. I think he would have fit pretty well. He goes Kirk. Makes me want to go receiver here first with Jaden Reed. It makes me want to go Jaden Reed here. Someone's gonna click like Mahomes and Marquise Brown, which we're just gonna let them. If it happens, it happens. We're gonna try to push Mahomes. Again, like I'm cool with this group. If we get one of these guys, I'm still pretty happy. So this should be relatively guaranteed. I can't click Marquise Brown this contest. This is like one guy that I'll wait till BBM. I'll wait until the NFL draft. After the draft, if KC doesn't bring in a receiver that I think is going to impact Marquise Brown, sure, probably mix him in. I probably still won't be at 8% on Marquise Brown in BBM at this ADP. Ridley off the board. Perfect. So we're getting one of these guys. Dennis punishes me right away. Right away. Says, I'll take Mahomes. Which maybe he's trying to bring in Marquise Brown for that quick 1-2 click. McLaurin off the board. Now we're starting to panic. Now we're starting to panic a little bit. Now I'm shaking. Rackham Willie with Hurts, Gibbs, Wilson, Cup, and McLaurin. I like this start. Dennis with Mahomes, ETN, AJ Brown, Marvin Harrison Jr., and Michael Pittman Jr. He's grabbing all the juniors. He's 3 juniors. Got junior squad. Rackham Willie taking it down to triple zeros. Just thinking it out. Thinking it out. I'm good with Pacheco or Richardson here. Getting a little value on either one. Richardson goes. I'm not going to get either one now. Marquise Brown. So Dennis does do that. So we can go Pacheco here. Or we can go the double stack with Atlanta. Ah, man. I should be mixing in Pacheco here, 64. Especially for my portfolio. It makes sense to mix in Pacheco here. I have a ton of pits. I have pits at freaking pick 102. Ton of pits. Let's get off the pits click here. We get 10 picks of value on Pacheco. We're leveraging Mahomes in a finals. With Rice still having a decent game, that could definitely easily happen. Brian Thomas Jr. goes. Burrow at 65. Probably wasn't going to make it back to 80. The Chase team not having a QB, having 2 picks at it. So if you want to get your guys, I think like this is something that's over. It's like an oversight on drafters. They'll tend to just try to push it. And you can. There are times that you can. But here, where the Chase team doesn't have a QB, go get your guys. So this is looking pretty balanced right now, but we obviously need to hope that our QB stacks come back to us. We can easily get boxed at QB with this start. Whoa. Okay, this is the hottest take of the day. This might be the hottest take of the summer. I think Love may outscore Mahomes anyway. Spice. That we're gonna have to I'm gonna have to create a new emoji for Berg. A new YouTube memberships emoji just for Berg. It's gonna have to be the spicy emoji. Oh my god. Ingram off the board at 70. K-Walk 69. Now that these tight ends, and we covered this the other day, now that these tight ends, their price has risen, where Laporta's price hasn't changed, now I'm mixing in more Laporta. Now I'm mixing in more Mark Andrews, more Trey McBride at this new price, because his ADP changed very quickly. Within the first 6 to 10%, he was settled in this range. Now that Kittle's fallen and these guys have risen, like now I'm mixing in more Kittle. Sort of making these small changes in who you're drafting and when to sort of give yourself an advantage over the field. Max says, I literally had to force myself to take Pacheco 10 picks past Dude, is this like a tongue twister here? Take Pacheco 10 picks past ADP earlier today, as well as for portfolio purposes. Dude, that's a lot of P's, man. That's like that's too many P's. It makes sense though. Take a step back, see why am I not clicking this guy here? I should be. And I'm glad we got to that. We thought it out. We are hoping for a QB to fall back to us. There isn't a reason that anyone else should take him. So that means he's surely gone. that means he's definitely not coming back. Yeah. Lamar's my second highest owned QB. Look at this running back. Another one. Another one. Chris Godwin almost made it back to us. But we didn't want him. Let's bring in Jordan Love, who I can't believe Jordan Love's ADP's higher than Kyler's. And is this something that changes the night that Arizona drafts Marvin Harrison? Like if they draft Marvin Harrison, Kyler is flopping Love. He's flipping probably most of these running backs too. I'd put him ahead of DeAndre Hopkins. So that'll be interesting. I know we're already pretty aggressive on Kyler in the CSV rankings. It does feel good to get one tight end in this range. But we might have other plans. Let's see. Do you like drafting next to me? I mean, is it Caden? If it's Caden, I mean, we're on a lot of the same clicks. Like, I like the DK here. I like T. Higgins. I like Kirk. I like Godwin. I like Bijan. Like Bijan at 8. He said right next. Yeah, okay, it is Caden. I thought the name looked familiar. Yeah, I like the team. I think the Burrow click was smart because he was not coming back to you. Oh. Dennis. The Punisher. Frank Castle himself. It's AD or it's Fergie Ferg. Let's go Fergie Ferg here. Let's go Fergie Ferg on this one. I do like AD in this range. If I needed a fourth receiver, or if I had one tight end, one running back, I'm probably going AD there over. Well, I'm obviously going AD there over a second tight end, but we'll go Fergie Ferg in this spot. Again, just balanced. Balanced squad. We can take it multiple ways. We do want to make Captain Kirk one of our targets, so we should be looking at where the Pitts team is. It's right here at the 6 spot. So, okay, he has 2 QBs. I don't think this guy knows what he's doing. I'm just going to go out there and say this team's dead. The 6 spot has 2 receivers through 8 rounds. This is going to be extremely hard to recover from. Double elite tight end. Puka, Nico, Derrick Henry. Like he has 2 running backs, 2 tight ends, 2 QBs. I know Michael's watching this and he likes the team. Hit him with the grid. He likes his team. And I won't forget, I have to cover that triple, the 3 elite QB team from last draft. I will cover that too. Almost forgot. AD is risky, but he could easily belong in this 70 range. He could easily belong here. It's going to depend on landing spot. So he's risky. He is the gamble piece. You're gambling on AD at this price. Same thing with Brian Thomas, though. Like, you're gambling at pick 66 for sure. For sure. Eight picks away. What are we looking at? Dak makes 0 cents. He had a good year, man. Go back, look at the numbers, look where he ranked at QB. He had a good year. They threw the ball a shit ton in the red zone. They trusted him a ton in the red zone. So I get it. He is more expensive this year, but where he went in this one at 91, I'm cool with Dak at 91. I'm cool with Dak at 91. 81, it is a little expensive, but I think Jordan Love's expensive too. Mike Willie off the board, Romeo Dobbs, Jameson Williams, Tua. Let's go. If you guys are just joining us, go down, slap a like on the live stream. We are 2 subs away from 1,200. If we hit 1,200 on this live stream, I will give away a YouTube membership to one of the subscribers, viewers in the YouTube live stream. So go down, hit the sub, hit the link. If you're watching on the Twitter machine, hit the link, get in the YouTubes. Brian Robinson Jr. He finally goes ahead of Eckler. Now his ADP is still behind, but that's one that has to flip-flop in my mind. It's just why it hasn't happened yet is kind of beyond me. All right, so we said we wanted Captain Kirk, and if that's going to happen, we probably have to do it at 112, unless we think this guy's not going to bring in a third QB with Dak and Lamar. We're going to bring in Tyler Lockett first. I want to risk it. I want to risk it on Kirk. We did the same thing last draft. We pushed it. We pushed it at QB. We pushed our stacks. And I think, at least in this situation, it makes sense. The team that has Pitts has Dak, has Lamar. They have 2 receivers through 9 rounds. They should be going receiver, 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 receiver. Will they do it? I don't know. Let's see how many QBs are ahead of. Look how many QBs are ahead of Kirk. So that's another thing you have to look at. I think we could push him, or at least I think we should try to push him. And that being said, who do we take now? Maybe we don't push him. Maybe we just grab the correlation. Or we go Lad. I don't want to go double in Philly. Let's bring in Lad here at 112. Sure up this wide receiver room a little more. Leaning on Breece Hall still and Pacheco. The next 2 picks, we are going tight. We're probably going running back and QB with the next 2 clicks. Yeah, Benson is someone that I had a private conversation with Drew, and I believe Nick was in it. And that was someone early that we wanted to get ahead of ADP on, and I believe I ranked him green very early into the draft guide as well, when he was in that 160 range. So how many QBs are ahead? So we still have 3 QBs ahead of Kirk Cousins. There's Jaden Daniels there too, who doesn't need to be stacked, so I'm okay with pushing Kirk. If we miss on him, like, Jaden Daniels is also not a bad option. We're risking it for the biscuit today. Yeah, surely they don't draft. But again, like, I've seen teams just take naked Kirk and they're like completely fine with just going and getting like Mooney. I don't think that's taking you to the promised land. What about the Bijan team? I'm not overly worried about the Bijan squad, but he could. He could. If I'm him, I'd be looking to go Trevor Lawrence at 128 if he's there. With DK, he could be focusing Geno as well. You spend that much at pick 32 on DK, Geno becomes a high prize priority for me. And Baker. So he has multiple options where he has pass catchers that he can pair with the QB. So we'll see. We'll see what he does. But you're right. Your Benson was my lad. Dude, I was on lad early. Like, go back to the first 3 streams. You must have brought it up early. But in that 2-week period, I didn't really start drafting the big board until it was like 4% full. I did like 1 or 2 just to mix in and see where the ADPs were, and then I hit my research before the Super Bowl. So when I came out of my first 4 drafts, I had Jalen Wright in 3 of them. Like, we were pretty much dialed in with ADPs pretty early. Now, obviously, we got blown up with the Chicago running back room. That one's the biggest pain for free agency for me. Oh dear. Adam must have. So Adam squad in the 1 spot: CMC, Diggs, DJ Moore, Stroud, Joe Mixon. He brings in Deontay Johnson and Hopkins, which I like. Brings in Benson, JMO, Schultz, and Troy Franklin. It's a great start. It's a great start. Deontay Johnson's getting expensive, though. I'm curious if you guys, like, in a new contest, are you guys okay with Deontay? Oh my God, it happened. He did it. He actually did it. And Daniels is off the board. We take a mega L. We take a fat L. Lamar, Dak, and yeah, Kirk Cousins is just going to add so much to this squad. That's why I did it. This team's got a 3-3-2 build. It actually happened. Okay, he goes T-Law. So I think we're just going to go. Again, this becomes a 3 QB team for us. Like that. This becomes a 3 QB team, which is fine. We're going to go Chase Brown again at 129. Back-to-back Chase Brown clicks. T-Law off the board too. Palmer at 130. Now we have to dial in. The best drafters can adjust. Double tapping running back in this range is not a terrible idea. That is an option. Receiver, we're good on right now. Jalen Wright and Chuba, like, I like the double tap here from this squad. Rack them. He needs to catch up a little bit at receiver, but I like what he's doing. Staffy off the board. Oh, man. Get a little stretch in. The 2 spot only has 1 QB. Adam only has 1 QB. The 3 spot only has 1 QB. 4 and 5 have 2. This team has 1,000,000. Team 7 only has 1, and Caden has 2. We're doing it. We're reaching up. We're getting our guy. Screw ADP. I'm sick of you. I'm sick of you, ADP. I'm sick of you. It's not that bad. It's about a round and a half. We'll bring in Drake May. Now we only need one more QB, which, yeah, I'm cool with skipping this range. Otherwise, I was going to go like Pat Fry. Pat Fry was probably the click for me. So never mind, you're screwed. TJ Hawk was off the board at 140. We got TJ Hawk at, I want to say 140 in a biggest board draft. It might have even been later. I'll have to peek. We're one sub away from doing a giveaway in the YouTube memberships. 1 free month. Coleman. 141. Come on, get some of these guys off the board. Get some of these guys off the board. Pat Fry. Damn. Not the guys I want. Like, pick the other ones. Let's see if some of these guys make it back to us. I have an idea. But Adam's double clicking right here. He's got a nice little 1-3-6-1. He reaches up for Levis so he doesn't get boxed at QB. And he brings in Musgrave. Interesting. I did not expect those clicks. Watson off the board. That team would grab Captain Kirk. I'm not overly mad about, like, you can't get mad about not getting your Kirk Cousins stack. It's just not possible. Disappointed? Sure. Sure. All right. The moment you all been waiting for, the Adam Thielen correlation here is nope, not happening. 5 picks and then pick 160. I will say Dennis is trying to ruin my day right here. The Bowers, 1 click away and then going Jake Ferguson. That one hurt. That one hurt. But I do think Jake Ferguson has a great year. Oh, we almost got Dotson. Okay, I was going to play it like we had Drake May go into Washington, but maybe we try to force some Patriots correlation. There's basically 2 clicks in this range that I want. Yeah, Ricky Pearsall was one of them. So I think that makes it nice and easy. We bring in Mare here. Ricky Pearsall was the guy we were going to go first. Caden, it's tough being sandwiched in between 2 people in the live stream that you all like similar players to. But you run into this in high stakes, so it is good practice to sort of little zig and zag action. Dip, duck, dive, and dodge. We definitely missed a D in there. Another dip. Maybe we bring in... That's the thing. Like, this range of running back is, like, after this range, for me, it starts to fall off. Rackham Willie's overspending at running back now. He should be done here. I don't think he's overspent yet, but he should be done. Thank you for taking Thielen. Thank you, honestly, from the bottom of my heart. Algiers off the board. Like, how do you make such a good click and then such a bad one? Algier at 164. Okay, so we get away from the Algier click here, but I don't think we're getting away from the Kendra click. When's our next click? 177. Let's bring in Kendre Miller here at 160. Brees Hall, Pacheco, Chase Brown, Kendre Miller, Drake London, Devonta Smith, Rashee Rice, Jaden Reed, Tyler Lockett, Lab McConkey, Jake Ferguson, Mayer. So we're going 3 tight ends. We're going 3 QBs. Pretty balanced at receiver, pretty balanced at running back. And we'll see what we can do with correlation with potential Drake May landing spots. That's going to be the goal there. And then a third QB. We have some back stack options, basically. Roman Wilson off the board at 163. All right. I have a feeling you guys hit it. Peeking it. Nope. Still at $11.99. Saving me $4. Let's go. Let's go. Roman Wilson is one of my favorite clicks in this range. But again, he's going to be super landing spot dependent. Mooney, Dotson. Dotson might be a player in this middle rounds that might be getting too much disrespect, but it'll depend. Like, I think that Washington touches at receiver. So there is a chance that he does belong in this range or even falls from here. But when the draft happens and BBM opens, my best advice is set ranges. And I'm going to do this for the people that subscribe to the Patreon and the YouTube memberships, the Maxer tier. In the CSV rankings and in the draft guide, you have to set ranges of where you think these players are going to go based on where they landed. And then how does that affect every single other player in that offense? Do they rise? Do they fall? Do they stay the same, which is rare? And set that range. Don't reach too far. Don't overreach. And then sort of scoop that closing line value in between, in a number in between. If you do that, when BBM5 opens, that's the way you're going to get a lot of closing line value early. And I like to pace myself, but on contest open, I will probably be doing 10 to 15 drafts. And then I'm going to slow down. I'll wait for news to break, and then I'll draft around news. And then we're sort of going to pace ourselves. Derek Carr goes at 171 here. That way you're getting players at better prices than other drafters and sort of pacing yourself with there are potential injuries that happen almost every single year in preseason, in training camp. I was going to try to sneak Fields into this build at 177. Okay. Interesting. Fuck. I want 2 players, but there's a slim chance I get them both. Which one do we want more? We'll go with Geno. Only because we can stack him with Fant as a third tight end. Yeah, we wanted Hunter Henry too. They were both top of the line in ADP. We weren't going to get both. I think going with the QB here where we have at least correlation with Tyler Lockett makes sense. Makes sense. Ben, welcome to the live stream, man. Good to see you, dude. This is number 150. Comes in and says, smash that like button. The man. Ben is the man. This is the final big board draft. The final big board draft. We'll show our exposures at the end of the stream. As a little thank you to everyone who's come out to watch. And that's something that we update the Pounders. I try to do it weekly, but if I don't draft a ton and they don't change, I won't send them out one week. But I do update the YouTube memberships as well as the Patreon members with my exposures throughout the off season on different contests. I like the Burton click here. All right. We have to dip, duck, dive again. Okay. Pain. Maybe we just bring in Fant here. We have our 3 QBs. We need running backs too, though. We can wait on Fant. I need to go running back here. Tempted to just bring in Zeke. It does seem like the landing spots for Zeke are lessening. And with Dobbins going to the Chargers, does that raise Elliott's chance of going to Dallas? It could. I think it does. We'll queue these guys up. Yeah, we need another running back in that range. I'm cool if we get Shipley as well. But this receiver, I'm like, I think we can just go our last few picks at receiver and be fine. Let's go. Let's go. Ben, always with the positive energy, man. Hype me up. Hype me up. No reach on Dobbins yet, which is surprising. You know how the community overreacts to news. You'll get like a picture of someone. Someone shared a photo. I think it was Jeff shared a photo of Achan. Like Achan's was it Achan? Now I have to check. I want to say it was Achan. He's like beefing up, and he looked like he was 3 pounds heavier. But like titles of different articles will just sort of steam players up. It's kind of funny. And then I reference when Mac Jones, he started working out and he was looking big. Like, dude should have just stayed fat. He was so much better. Bring back fat Mac Jones. I think that's what he needs. Receivers in this range. Pop, 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 pop. We want one of these guys, ideally. Add Malik Washington to this group. No disrespect. We'll start there. We can add Dobbins up here as well. Just kind of figured that someone would have already clicked it. Daniel Jones off the board. Adam gets Bryce Young at 193 to bring in his third QB. We'll see if Adam goes 4 tight ends with this build. Currently has Schultz and Musgrave. We'll see. I'm interested to see if he will lean into this group with just one more tight end. Up in 5 picks. 4, 5, 6, 1. 4, 5, 6, 1. It's not even like the worst. It's not even the worst. It's not like it's completely dead, but it obviously destroys your chances in the finals of unique combinations and different combinations. But I think, is he on auto now? Or has he been on auto? These are all after ADP. No. Yeah. He's been on. This pick was before ADP. The 28, this pick was before ADP. So maybe he's been in and out of the draft, but a little run at tight end here. Let's see what Caden does. He goes Javon Baker. So we can go Dobbins here. Basically get him at ADP, or we can go Will Shipley. We have a team that could support Dobbins, especially if you get Zeke to land in Dallas. I'm sort of fading Dobbins still, though. Let's bring in Will Shipley. He's someone I do want to add. I want to add more shares of. Again, these rookies, depending on landing spot, they can rise pretty damn far. Like we've seen like Damian Pierce from 2 years ago when he was a rookie, just a landing spot alone. But it's not a bad time to bring in J.K. Dobbins. I think there's a world in which the Chargers still draft a running back. I know all the buzz is around Corum for whatever reason, but I think there's a chance that they draft another running back and they all end up eating their own lunch, stealing work from one another. Gus Edwards, like I know this hurts Gus more than it helps Dobbins too. Like his ceiling comes down, and where he was being drafted to start the contest was more than a fair price. Like it was a great price, but then he rose up even higher than 124. He should probably be in the 140 range, 140, 150 range. Tyler, welcome to the live stream, man. It said smashed the like button like I smashed popcorn at the theater. My wife goes by. But extra butter. Don't be cheap on the butter now. All right, cool. Noah Fant falls directly into our pocket. We get our double stack with Geno. And now we're going to add a few receivers. And basically, we just got naked Drake May, which in this room, it's fine. He'll just be an advanced rate play. And then we'll rely on our Jordan Love and Geno stacks in the playoffs. Rough room, just randomly sniping each other QBs. This guy overspending at QB. It's completely fine to bring in a QB that you think is a good value that will help your team advance. It's also okay to lean into two QBs, but who do we want to bring in with our last two clicks? They're both going to be receivers. It's tough to go 7 receiver builds, especially in a 20-round draft and where you don't know the bye weeks. I do tend to lean on a minimum 8. I want to say my portfolio probably has less than 5% with just 7 receivers. And we spent a good amount of capital too on receiver. But I still think we need 8. Team so far: Jordan Love, Drake May, Geno Smith, Breece Hall, Pacheco, the 10 pick after ADP, Chase Brown, Kendra Miller, Zeke, and Will Shipley, with Drake London, Devonta Smith, Rashee Rice, Jaden Reed, Tyler Lockett, McConkey, Ferguson, Marin Fant. This is sick. This is sick. can't do it. I can't do it. He reminds me of, what's the dude from Dallas that got drafted last year? Deuce. Deuce. Reminds me of the Deuce click too much. Tank Bigsby and Sanders. Nice. We'll see if Adam leans into these three with Schultz, Musgrave, and Sanders. Diggs, Moore, Deontay Johnson, Hopkins, JMO, Troy Franklin, and Polk. The running back room is looking nice. I like the running back room from Adam a lot. Hero running back build. I mean, you have Joe Mixon, so it's sort of double anchor. Modified double anchor. Stroud, Levis, and Young. So it's a balanced squad. It's just, is he going to go receiver or tight end with that last click? Might even depend on who's on the board. Malik Washington off. Kendrick Bourne off. Reynolds off. Foreman. Oh, wow. We're flying now. We are flying now. Got to savor the moment. It's the last one. It's the last big board draft. Savor it. Take it all in. Slap the like. Subliminal messages. Brendan Rice. Say I won't. Say I won't. DJ Chark, are we back? Is the DJ Chark, is the click back? Let's bring in Mingo here. Been adding a little bit of Mingo in the back end. Damn it. There's a there's a commenter that said I say back end too much. Damn. He's right. I just caught myself. It's at least the second time this stream. We're going to bring in Jake Bobo. We have to. We have to pay our respects. Oh, well, I guess I did a good job at convincing you not to take Mingo. Mingo snipe shaking my head. I don't think he was going to make it back to you. He goes in almost every draft. Should we draft Alex? Alex Pierce? Alec Pierce? Mr. Cardio? I don't think I have a single share this year. 1792. Just leaning on Jalen Hurts. Interesting. By interesting, I mean like not great. It's not great. Oof. Oh my God. I just clicked off. We're going to auto. We're going to auto. I'm cool with it. It was meant to be. It was meant to be. It was meant to be a Bobo click. Clearly, the fantasy gods from above. Spam click the link. Jake Bobo, Mingo, McConkey, Lockett. We got our triple. We got our triple in Seattle. It's interesting, at least. It's more of a luxury pick too. Like I'm comfortable with just this group even. Obviously, we're leaning into Rice not getting suspended, but if McConkey gets a decent landing spot, if he goes at the end of the first round, I'm just good with this group even. So we'll cover Adam's draft. We're gonna cover Dennis. Is Rackham Willie in the live stream? Let me know if you're in the live stream. I want to say this is a pounder, but might not be. And we'll cover a crypto. Caden. Omega, welcome to the live stream, man. Johnny Wilson rise in ADP is incredible this late. Yeah, out of left field. Is that Hayden's doing? The Johnny Wilson? I would probably prefer someone just like Jamari Thrash over Johnny Wilson, but I still think Thrash is an okay, like, depending on landing spot, obviously, for any of these guys this late in the draft, but Thrash at least has the spike week potential. So it looks like Adam's gonna bring in Treylon Burks if he doesn't get sniped here. My guess is it's Burks. We'll pull up the teams. Hey, sweet. All right, we'll go over Jackson's team too. Sneaking in here and telling us at the very end, telling us no, Jax, I knew this name looked familiar. That's number 150. Now we have a slow draft that hasn't finished, but that's number 150. Adam's team, Stroud, Levis, Young. The QBs were flying off, so he had to reach. And again, when you're on the opposite ends of the board, 1 or 12, like you have to go get your guys. Otherwise, you can get boxed, especially at the onesie positions from the 1 and 12 spot. And Bryce Young with CMC, Mixon, Trey Benson, Antonio Gibson, Ray Davis, and Bigsby. Like, I love the RB room. I love the RB room here. Diggs, DJ Moore, Deontay Johnson, DeAndre Hopkins, J-Mo, Troy Franklin, Polk. He brings in Noah Brown, so he deviates from the the Treylon Burks. But I'm surprised. I'm surprised. I guess they're both Noah Brown's probably the 4th or 5th favorite target on the team, and at least it's a high-powered offense where Burks is the 3rd favorite target on the Titans, but not going to be putting up as many points. So I think that's a relatively even trade. Schultz, Musgrave, and Sanders. So he does lean in with those 3 tight ends. So I think that's fine. Jackson, the 5 spot, going 3 rookie QBs, Caleb, Jaden, and JJ McCarthy. I don't advise doing this. I like to at least get one vet that will give me for sure points and maybe starts the season better than a rookie will. You know, started off faster, maybe even someone late, just like Derek Carr, you know. But 3 rookies. Let's see who does with it. Achane, Montgomery, Brian Robinson Jr., Ty Chandler, Khalil Herbert, and P. Ryan. I'm good with the group. It's not the highest upside group, but Achane obviously raises the ceiling. David Montgomery as a running back too, I think makes a lot of sense with the high floor. I like the B-Rob click. And then some of the guys, we're just not on some of the same plays. But Khalil Herbert at 173 or 178, whatever, he's going to need to get moved. I feel like he's going to need to get moved teams for him or Rashawn to really shine. And at 178, 173, it's worth the click. But yeah, I know the running backs at the very end of the draft are very gross. So the Pirine's not the worst thing in the world. Amon-Ra, Mike Evans, Tank Dell at 44, which is where I think he belongs. So this is a good, at least you get him at not maybe not a value, but you get him where most other drafters did not. So I think that's cool. Jordan Addison, Christian Watson, Demario Douglas, Devontae Walker, and Kendrick Bourne. I like the receiver room. Demario Douglas, nice little floor play. Kendrick Bourne, we'll see, with the injury, what week he ends up playing. Watson, a spike week guy, but you have a really good floor with Amon-Ra, spike week guy, and Evans. So you got a good mix. I like the mix there. McBride, Hawkinson, and Kraft. I think you could have even leaned in with just these two, especially where there are no bye weeks the first, 4 weeks. Maybe you have Hawkinson coming back week 5, and you can lean on Trey McBride for those first 4 weeks. I think you could have done that as well. And then maybe add whatever, a running back or receiver. But I like the team. It's balanced. The 3 rookie QBs is something you don't see a lot. You don't see that a lot. Caden, just with Joe Burrow and Trevor Lawrence. Njoku, Jonnu Smith, and Juwan Johnson. I like the tight end room. Not overspending, but in my opinion, it's a nice tight end room. Bijan, Jonathan Taylor, Devin Singletary, Blake Corum, Braylon Allen, and Damian Pierce. Double elite RB start. Next running back at pick 113. I think that's smart. I don't think that he really overdid it at running back here. Blake Corum, Braylon Allen. Again, like I think this is a good, well balanced squad so far. And then 9 receivers, so this is gonna make a ton of sense. DK, T. Higgins, Christian Kirk, Chris Godwin, Sutton, Pearsall, Baker, Brendan Rice. The Pearsall click 1 pick before me. I do like this click for this team specifically as well. Brings in Javon Baker, Brendan Rice, and another piece with Joe Burrow. So that's a nice draft right there by Caden, drafting right next to us. Yeah, we were sandwiched this one. Dennis in the 10 spot with Mahomes and Kyler Murray. That's a sick pairing. Bowers, K. Dotton, and Likely. Yeah, I think the third tight end's necessary here, especially like you do get a very high ceiling with Likely. It's just, are they going to change their ways and play Likely when Mark Andrews is healthy? Like, or do we have to rely on that injury for Mark Andrews again? He's priced like a handcuff right now. He's priced like a handcuff, but a high prized handcuff. He's going ahead of some starters like Juwan, right now, Jonnu, Mike Gesicki. But yeah, I think this 3 pairing is good. It's not an overspend. ETN, Zamir White, Tajay Spears, Zach Charbonnet, J.K. Dobbins, and Clyde. I don't mind the RB room. Might be a little on the weaker side, but where you have double elite QBs, you have to be at least a little weak somewhere. And running back is the perfect place to be a little weak and lean into uncertainty. A.J. Brown, Marvin Harrison Jr., Michael Pittman Jr., Marquise Brown, Joshua Palmer, Xavier Legette, Zay Jones, Jalen Hyatt, and Greg Dortch. Yeah, I like this draft from Dennis here. I like this draft. Oh, God. Glenn says Jiggy June had a nice team, so we'll peek that team as well at the end. Rackham Willie, I'm pretty sure is a pounder. Rackham Willie, I remember that show. Jalen Hurts? Just Jalen Hurts? Even for like advance rate purposes, I like to have multiple QBs for the playoffs. Gibbs, Warren, Brooks, Hubbard, Wright, Lloyd. Like, sure, there's no QBs left. Like, if you're trying to go QB instead of these 2 running backs, there's no QBs left here at 228, 229. So it had to have been earlier. But I also think you can get away with this group and just 1 more running back. Garrett Wilson, Cup, McLaurin, JSN, Myers, Wicks, Corley, Burton, McMillan. Oh, man, these 2 were snipes, which was good for him, bad for me. Kittle and Conklin. I feel like you would get more points out of a third tight end than you would one of these running backs. I'm good with the wide receiver capital spent. I'm good with 9 here. I feel like a third tight end would have been in the best interest of advance rates. But yeah, still a good squad. Let's check out Jiggy Junes real quick. Herbert, Mayfield, and Darnold. Komet and Gesicki. So really leaning into some of the late tight ends. Barkley, Josh Jacobs, Stevenson, Chubb, Estime, Sanders, and Foreman. Not super on Foreman, but I like the rest. Nick Chubb after ADP. But again, if Nick Chubb doesn't play the first 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or maybe they start him slow, Jiggy has 3 running backs in front of Chubb to make up for that. So that helps. Yeah, I think it matters the way you're sort of bringing these players in on what sort of teams. I think this one makes sense for Chubb. Jefferson, Odunze, George Pickens, Brian Thomas Jr., AD, Rashid Shaheed, Quentin Johnson, and Trey Palmer. really leaning into the rookies, especially with like a player with Pickens is a spike week guy who can disappear. And then, geez, I mean, we're expecting to see multiple QBs this year for Pittsburgh, and we'll see how it most likely will not be beneficial for the receivers, the pass catchers, but Rashid Shaheed, another spike week guy. I just don't think, and then Trey Palmer, another spike week guy. I think you needed another high floor piece somewhere in here. And yeah, maybe not the best balanced team, but it's a fun one. It's a fun one. All right, let's pull up real quick this draft. This one is for the gritty. He wanted to see the triple elite QB team. And again, this room was like the Wild Wild West. Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, and Mahomes. Kittle, Hawkinson, and Likely, which I'm cool with. Although, like, Hawkinson, I like to grab him when he falls. But especially with Kittle, who might not be like the highest floor. He has a high ceiling, but he'll disappear for a certain amount of games every year. Kamara, Pollard, Javante. Yeah, I don't like this team at all. I don't like that squad at all. All right. Where did the exposures end up for the $10? So this is 147. Hasn't updated fully, but it's close enough. QB's T-Law at 24.5%. I think it's based on some of the pricing of the early QBs and then just me attacking Christian Kirk early and often into this contest that I was just, and Ingram. So you will see it is correlated. Like my highest owned tight end is Evan Ingram. So I'm correlating these takes. Where's Kirk? Kirk's in here at 16%. So it makes sense that my highest owned QB has a lot of the pass catchers on my top exposures. Lamar, Dak, Kyler, Daniel Jones, which is kind of surprising, but if he plays 8 to 10 games, I think he ends up being a fine value. Jared Goff, Richardson, Purdy, Fields, Tua, and I was still clicking Fields even when he fell to like 160, 170, 180. I'm cool with bringing in Fields on certain teams where he is going to be like the third QB that maybe you have two pass catchers and you want some rushing upside for the playoffs. I think he makes sense in some builds. Josh Allen, Staffy. Running back, Algier at 28.6%. I need more love. I don't know. See, here's the problem. I'll tell you guys, I'm transparent. I was leveraging Jordan Love with Aaron Jones. And just you win some, you lose some. So I was leveraging having a low ownership of Jordan Love, and then you get the news they just release Aaron Jones. Algier Gibson. Gibson was one of my favorite clicks when he was in the 200s. I came off him pretty abruptly when he rose to 160, but I think you can still mix him in on the right team where you need someone to give you a decent floor. Maybe you have a few rookies, hero running back build with a few rookies. I think Gibson can make sense in a build like that. Kendra Ford, Ray Davis, Rashawn Johnson, Aaron Jones. So here it is. Here's the Jordan Love leverage. Oops. Jalen Wright, who at ADP, he's still, I think, a fine click. He's going to be very landing spot dependent, but he could be a spike week guy. Khalil Herbert, James Conner, Brian Robinson Jr., Tank Bigsby sneaking in down there at the bottom. Interesting. Receivers, Jermaine Burton, Waddle, Mooney, who I was looking teams yesterday on my phone, going through some old teams. I'm like, Mooney at 233, last pick of the draft. It was pretty crazy how he was sort of written off. Roman Wilson, Malik Washington, Ricky Pearsall, Curtis Samuel. And those are my two biggest hits in closing line value are Mooney and Curtis Samuel. I'm not touching Samuel where he's going right now. Lab McConkey, Jalen McMillan, Ridley, not ecstatic, obviously, about the Tennessee landing spot, and Christian Kirk is 16%. Tight ends, Ingram, Kmet. I've definitely come down on the Kmet click too. After Keenan Allen goes there, Kmet becomes just like Schultz getting digs. Those two tight ends, in my opinion, become more touchdown dependent. Bowers, Pitts, Jonnu at 14%. That's gonna be more than double field. Just because he wasn't really being mixed in too much in the first 50% of the contest before he landed in Miami. Njoku, Schultz, Fant, McBride, Pat Fry, Sanders, and Conklin down here. And Conklin's someone that I wouldn't want to be under 8% on. Like if the Jets don't bring in Bowers, I think Conklin can be a good value. So he's someone that I did want to be above field on. And then Hunter Henry's right there with Jake Ferguson, Jaceki. it's interesting. Let's dig a little deeper into the receivers. Odunze, Chris Godwin, Wandale, Myers, Drake London, and those teams with early Drake London are so fun. My highest owned player in the first round, Garrett Wilson, DK, DJ Moore. And the DJ Moore thing is I actually liked Bijan a lot. I liked him at 5-6 early, and that means I wanted to get out of the first 2 rounds with at least one receiver. I ended up with a ton of DJ Moore in this contest. So 13. This will come down a little bit because we didn't get him in the last 3 drafts, but around 13%, which is unfortunate for the landing spot. I think he becomes more spike week dependent. I think he has less high of a floor. The ceiling should still be there, but Keenan Allen should be demanding a ton of targets. Javon Baker, Tyler Boyd, CeeDee Lamb, A.T. Perry, and Rice there at 11% too. So a little thank you to the crowd who stuck it out with me, drafting with me, the whole big board. If you guys enjoyed tonight's live stream, on the way out, go down, slap the like. If you're on Twitter, get in the YouTube machine, slap the like. Let me check real quick. If we did grab that last sub, we'll do a giveaway before we leave. We didn't, but I'm confident we'll get it on the next one. So we'll catch you guys on the next stream. Appreciate everyone coming out. And yeah, thanks, guys. Pounders.